If you start out with something and you're not happy, change. Change today. Don't wait for anyone to come save you.
Welcome to another episode of YanaTV, and today our guest is Shalimamotial, who is founder and CEO of Dreamcatchers, events, theatre and production company who are doing amazing things in a very different way. Shalima, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me over. Such a pleasure.
I know. Dreamcatchers, such a lovely name. And I remember you and I just recently were having coffee together and talking about it.
Yeah.
And you were sharing with me the mission and what makes it so different from other theatre and production companies. So please tell us.
Right. So it's a 12-and-a-half-year-old company. And it started off as a talent showcase company and then moved to online talent showcase company because I realized Singapore didn't have platforms for performing arts. In school and colleges, people get an opportunity to get on stage, singing, dancing, acting, whatever it is, right? But as adults, when we are in corporate life or homemakers, there isn't any platform. And that's how Dreamcatchers started. I wanted to catch the dreams of performing artists. And along the way, it became an events company. How it's different in niches, we tap into the market which is untapped. So, there are a lot of companies doing similar kind of events, whereas Dreamcatchers does events that are very different. So, for example, something like a runway mom. It's a platform for women to walk the fashion ramp irrespective of their age, height, size, nationality, and with their loved ones. And the USP is it's non-competitive, so the atmosphere around is so positive, encouraging, and it helps women get out of their houses, do something unique, do something different. And in a way, I feel that empowered women empower women. So I wanted to create that for them. And by God's grace, we've had 7 successful seasons.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Then we also have platforms like Superstar Singapore, which is for performing arts across age groups and across platforms. So usually there is either for singers or for dancers, either for adults or for children, whereas we've created a platform which is across age groups and across platforms. And that is again performing arts, but in a different segment and category. And then we moved on to theatre. And that was again different because, we catered to...
Because you are very multifaceted, clearly, that's why.
Thank you for that. So again, there was either Hindi theatre or English theatre, only for adults, only for children. So we created a platform which was for age groups from 8 to 80. So we had Timeless Tales. I had it with another partner of mine, and we did 2 successful seasons of that. People loved coming to watch theatre with families. 3 generations coming to watch theatre together. That again is a niche market that we created. And then COVID hit, right? And it's not in my DNA to sit and do nothing. So
I can see that.
So I became a film producer. And I started producing short films. So I started writing those scripts at home. By God's grace, I have a very talented family. I have 2 daughters who are singers, songwriters, musicians. My husband's a fabulous singer, director, songwriter, and this is his passion. So he has a corporate job, but we all got together and produced films at home. And then I started sending them out because I believe that through films, you reach out to a much wider audience. Right? So then there has to be a strong message in it for everyone. So we tackled with domestic violence, mental health awareness, and I sent it out for film festivals, and it was very well received. So as an artist, as a producer, it's a big pat on the back if you're entering something new and it's well received by people, right? So that again was a niche. So after producing some good 10, 12 films, short films, and acting in other production houses' films as actor, I was like, time to dream big since we are called Dreamcatchers. And that's when the biggest project of my life called Dominoes, which is a full-length feature film. It's a 2-hour-long film, and it had 90+ people as a part of the team. 1 year of shoot process and editing and a lot of hard work, a lot of learning process came about. So we had Dominoes showcased to some 700 people at its opening night. And that was this year, early this year.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. And yeah, so that again, I don't know any other producer here in Singapore who's done a full-length feature film. I know of a lot of producers and production houses that have done, I'm talking of Indian origin now, that have done short films, So to go out there and dream big and make that happen, it's God's grace and a support of a lot of talented people. So if I was to do it all on my own, absolutely impossible. Another strength of mine, I feel, is getting people together. A huge team came about and we put this product out for the whole of Singapore and soon enough for the whole world to see. So,
I'm looking forward. I know again, when we had our coffee, we talked about the movie, and I told you I'm looking forward to seeing this. It's also interesting stories of 4 women that are intertwined and with those strong, deep social messages. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, so the underlying theme is women empowerment. And it is a story of 4 women, as you correctly said. Each woman's life has a domino effect on the other, and that's how the name Dominoes came about.
Beautiful. And I love when you talk about women empowerment, this is like a topic of itself. And to me, you're one of those women who walk the talk. So let's talk about this a little bit. So when you look around, and you work with many women, because many women that comes to your project.
Absolutely.
So what do you see? Like what kind of state are women are right now?
So there's a mixed bag, right?
Okay.
Some of them are achievers that I interact with. Some of them want to achieve a lot. Some of them are skeptical right now, They have ideas, they have dreams, and they're waiting. And that's the message I want to give out to women, that each one of us is born with a purpose. Each one of us eventually figures out that purpose in life, right? Go out there and make it happen. There is never going to be a time which is going to be perfect. There is never going to be enough funds for it. There is never going to be perfect circumstances for your dreams. So just launch. And that's what I did with Dominoes. I wasn't waiting for the right funding, the right actors. It just came about. Once you start something, my husband often jokes about it, that you jump first and then build the parachute.
Yes.
And
I could do the same, so I can relate.
So by God's grace, it works out, And I always feel that if you have your heart at the right place, right people will associate with you. People will come from different angles to come help you. Sometimes women feel that, we need to do it all ourselves. No, just go out and ask for help. You will be surprised at the number of people that are out there ready to help.
What is the best way to ask for help? So how do you do that?
Directly, that. So even for my projects, when I reach out to people or sponsors, you just go directly, don't go in a roundabout fashion. I'm doing this, this is something that I'm excited about, and this is in it for you, and this is what is in it for me. And once the cards are so clearly out on the table that this is how you are going to benefit, and this is how I'm going to benefit, and this is the size of the project, let's make it big together. That's it. Absolute honesty, transparency, that's what I've always worked with.
So what I notice very often with women, so especially creative women or women in creative professions tend to be not very good when it comes to how do you actually make money with that.
Right.
So when we tell women, go ahead, follow your dreams, quit the job you hate, do something meaningful. My question is, so what about money?
Okay, that's a very good question. So I have struggled with that too, being an entrepreneur for so long. In the initial years, it was just investment, nothing coming in. So that's another thing. Whatever idea you're coming out with, be flexible around it. Be like the water that flows in different directions. When put in a glass, it takes that shape. When put in a river, it flows like that. So don't be too married to the idea you start out with if it's not making money. And the other thing I come back to is help. So if you're very creative, but don't have business skills like you were saying, then take help. Hire a team, or collaborate.
Get a partner who is more business savvy, right?
But having said that, partner with the right mindset of people. So you have to be smart about who you partner with. And then if you're creative and the other person gets in their marketing skills, fabulous. Or it could be the other way around as well. You're a people's person, you're very good going and meeting. And I've seen a lot of women, they have their strength in that. Then you partner with someone who is creative and has products or ideas or services to sell. and partner and collaborate and, make it a nice place to hang out together and grow as well.
I love how you said that partner with the right people. Yes. I was just speaking recently to a friend, and the topic was, so how do you motivate a team if it's not motivated? Right. And then we were laughing and saying, hire people who are motivated. Yes. Work with people who share your values, who are as driven as you are. Otherwise, if you kind of constantly have to utilize your own energy to bring the project forward, it's a burnout. It is very difficult.
Absolutely. It's interesting you say that, because I'm reading a book these days by Shiv Khera, and this is exactly the chapter I read last night. So they're these two friends, and they were in the forces together, same service time, same pay, everything. 30 years later, they retire, and one of them has gone and become CEO of a company, and the other guy comes to him for a job. And then he's sitting and, he's like, oh my God. So we started out at the same pay, we started out in the same forces, and 30 years later, you're the CEO and I'm working for you. Like, what's different? So he says, oh, you remember 30 years back, both of us had finished a late night shift and we walked back home 2 miles. And when we reached home, I suddenly realized that we've left the light and fan on back at office. And I said, let's go switch that off. And you were like, forget it. Who's going to walk back 2 miles to switch off a fan, to switch off a light? We're not even paying for it. The government is paying for it. I'm not going back. He said, I was the one who went back and switched off that light and fan. So it's a small example that shows that you have to have a very different mindset, a very different attitude and work ethic. So when you see someone who has that kind of attitude, work ethic, mindset, that is someone you need in your team.
Exactly.
And touch wood, I've been fortunate enough to get fabulous people in my team, event after event after event. At the end of the day, it's all your baby, right? You are responsible. But if you have a team that can manage and, you can say, okay, I'll leave this part to you and that part to you and be rest assured that it'll be taken care of. That's a fabulous place to be in, and I've been there many a times.
And I know that also from a leadership point of view, that's a big question. How do you bring out the best in your people, and how do you make sure that they go an extra mile?
Yana, I love the questions you're asking. So I think my leadership style is different in the sense that it's a bit servile. I have seen people who are leaders who then talk like bosses all the time.
Do this for me, do that for me.
Absolutely. And look down on the people they're working with. That's not motivating for people you're working with, right? So if you have the attitude that what can I do for you that will make this work easier for you or fun for you? So for me, always in all my projects, you'll see there'll be a lot of social media posts. We're making boomerangs, we're doing slow-mos, we're making reels. So for me, it has to be a 3-legged stool. We have a 3-legged stool.
We do actually, yes.
So this means that you have to be contributing, you have to have fun, and you have to learn in the process. So, for Domino's, nobody came trained. We all learned at the job.
And it's a full-featured movie.
Yes, it's a full-feature film. And I was a producer, come actor, come taking care of other production aspects. So it was like different hats I was wearing, right? So learning is very important. And then equally important is having fun, which we all did. So I would announce, pack up. And then nobody to leave, and they all looking at me like, what? Like, let's make a reel before we go. So we would all dance and go out and all that. And then you look forward to coming for the shoot again the next day.
Yes.
If there's tension, there's, someone acting very bossy, you don't want to come back to work. And that's not the environment I personally like to work in. So it's been a lot of fun working on every project with every team member that's been a part of it.
A little bit about your story. I know that you were born in India.
Yes.
Where exactly?
So my dad is in the Indian Air Force. I was born in Jorhat, a place I've never visited again. I don't know how it looks because I was just a year old when I moved out. And so I've done 13 years of schooling in 8 different schools.
Oh my God, that's quite, that's why I guess you're so good with different people and so adaptable also.
I think, yes, when you don't have a choice, in friends, you're posted here, you're there for 2 years, and then you move out before you're feeling settled, then you move out again in a year or 3 years. That adaptability comes. That becomes part and parcel of your personality.
So what was the best memory when you were growing up and moving schools?
So I was telling this to my daughter the other day. I said, the best part of moving from place to place was I could be a new me. I could be the best version of myself and then better version and better each time I moved. Because, there are always things in people that we like and we admire. And sometimes it becomes difficult to adapt it there and then because you feel like, oh, am I copying this person? But when you move to a new place, you can happily adapt that and, inculcate all the good things you find in everyone. So that's been the best part of moving places. You get to be a new Shalima.
What was the hardest part?
Hardest part was, again, adjusting, finding your feet in every school, every place you're there. And not all camps had kids my age. So those times were hard. And I especially felt that when I would visit my cousins. And they were born and brought up in one place. So they had like nice rocking circle of friends. And they have been together from like kindergarten till 12th. And you don't have that growing up because you've moved so often. These days, you can still keep in touch. There's WhatsApp, there's FaceTime. That time there wasn't. If you'd write a letter to a friend, it would reach like 3 weeks later. By that time, that news is stale, right?
Yes, exactly. And just listening to you, I'm realizing it over and over again that just your very diverse upbringing and that you moved around so much created this personality when you can do many things pretty much at the same time. Not everyone can do that. Usually people who spend more time in one environment and grew up, they become more focused on one or two things maximum, and they go maybe, deeper and longer, but that's what it is.
Right.
So it's also interesting skill when you can juggle so many, very deep creative projects, which I think just a wonderful skill to have.
Thank you.
And so that brings us then, when we talk again about just women empowerment and leadership. Now that you're in Singapore, you are now doing your business for like 12, 13 years. What would you like to tell to women here? Like if there were a message.
Yes, so the message would be self-love, which is so overrated these days, but also very misunderstood, I feel. So when we talk about self-love, the first thing to note is self-love is not selfish. When you're taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and you're whole and complete in yourself, that's when you can give back to society, your family, your work, which many women don't give attention to. You can't pour from an empty cup. So once your cup is full and brimming, that's when you give back to society, right? So that is very important. Homemakers take themselves for granted. They come the last. Even as corporate professionals, women feel that guilt of not being able to spend enough time with the family. So they are also not taking care of their mental, physical, emotional, spiritual needs. That I feel as women, we need to prioritize and put on top. That give yourself importance. Once you're complete and full in yourself, it is so easy to then spread out your sunshine, your love, your creativity, whatever it is that you want to in life.
I love that. I feel like I want to ask a tricky question.
Yes.
You're from India, so you're born there, you grew up there. So my curiosity, is there something you think about Indian women which is more like a cliche opinion, which is not true, actually? Like something that the world thinks, but in reality it is not there.
There's a myth that women are not that motivated or career-oriented in India. So that myth definitely I'd like to break. They are homemakers, fabulous because they want to be, not because they have to be. So there is a difference between wanting something and, having to do it because there's no choice. So when women are homemakers out of choice, phenomenal. That's the most difficult job to do, right? But if they want, they can work and be equally successful in any and every field they want to be in. And that's the myth that I want to, break here, that Indian women are excited about being in the workforce, and when they are in the workforce, they excel like no one's business. So don't think that Indian women is equal to homemakers and that they're not passionate or interested in working outside of the house.
That's actually, very true. I have seen quite a few who are very successful and very motivated, and you really don't want to stand in their way. So, yes, I second that, bursting the myth. Maybe just a few final questions for our interview today. Singapore.
Yes.
Like you spent so many years here. How do you feel living in Singapore?
Oh, I absolutely love it.
What do you love about it?
The security aspect, it's corruption free, the safety, bringing up my girls here was like a dream, right? And I'm yet to see another country in the world that's as safe, secure, corruption free, and like a melting pot, that it encourages diversity, which is phenomenal. And as an entrepreneur also, when I launched 12 and a half years back, it was so welcoming of it. Everyone, right from, say, a radio coverage to a MediaCorp TV coverage to a press coverage, I got that time for my first event. Nobody knew Shalimamotial, nobody knew Dreamcatchers, and yet the whole society came forward to help. I did a sold-out show. My first show was a sold-out show. It was Love to Dance. It was again a platform for performing artists, dancers, and they were all women above the age of 30. So for me, Singapore's been such a big blessing, and that feeling growing up that I missed out on, being born and brought up in a place, I felt that in Singapore because I've been here 20 and a half years now. So yeah, that's a long time.
And if you would choose like one thing that you feel Singapore can improve, what would that be?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I love it the way it is. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Singaporean. I'm a proud Singaporean.
Yeah, well, same here, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
hey, 5 to the Singaporeans. And if there is maybe like a final message that you would like to share with us today, perhaps with younger generation, if we are talking, maybe younger women who are like just pursuing their careers, what do you say?
So to them, I would say that, maybe you've decided on some path and initially you were confident that this is what I want to do. But eventually if you feel, oh no, I'm not enjoying myself so much, life is short. Leave, start something different. You will be successful if you're passionate about it, and you want that change so bad, you will make the second option work. So don't ever feel stuck in life. You got to keep moving. End goal is happiness. Today we eat, we do shopping, we go watch a film. The end goal is always happiness, right? So for bigger things in life also, the end goal is happiness. So why be in a career, a job, a profession, being even an entrepreneur? If you start out with something and you're not happy, change. Change today. Don't wait for anyone to come save you.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. And it was Shalimamotial on YanaTV. And we have been talking about women empowerment and leadership and your life journey and lessons and messages for women, how you can catch your dreams. And do stay connected with us. Share in the comments, what are your dreams? Perhaps there is something we can help you to realize. When we state it out loud into the universe, you never know who is going to support you. So I am looking forward to reading your comments with your dreams. And see you next time with another guest.
Founder and CEO.
What did I say?
CEO and founder. So first you find the company, then you become the CEO.
Okay.
So founder and CEO.
Founder and CEO. Okay.